Now we move on to the third one. The title of the paper is called the paper is EdgePoW, an intent-aware adaptive SDN defense with PoW Against multi-domain SYN Floods. So the paper is from Georgia Tech and Peking University as well as Tencent. And unfortunately, due to other travel conflicts, not also to join us today. But one of the representatives from their groups, Wenyang,
yes.
will do the presentation. Today is currently a research assistant at Peking University SYN Floods, and her research focuses on agentic networking, large language model networking, and AI infra, as well as large text. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Wenyang from the SYN lab at Peking University. Today, I will present EdgePoW Adaptive Ingress-Aware Defense with Non-Interactive PoW Against Volumetric SYN Floods. I will organize the talk in 4 parts. First, I will introduce the background. Second, I will present the EdgePoW architecture. Third, I will show the physical testbed evidence. Finally, I will summarize the deployment. First, separate server state from network bandwidth. A defense can protect the former and still lose the latter. Modern volumetric DACs have reached the terabit per second scale. A TCP SYN flood consumes 2 resources at once: half-open connection state at the server and link capacity along the path. SYN cookies addresses state exhaustion by encoding connection information in the SYN ACK. But the reply remains every incoming SYN still causes an outgoing SYN ACK at the flood scale. Preserving state is therefore not enough because per SYN replies continues to consume the victim's ingress bandwidth. Proof of work changes the asymmetry. A legitimate client pays a small cost for an occasional connection, while a high-rate attacker must repeat the copy of every SYN. Interactive client puzzles, however, still requires the server to transmit a challenge. Non-interactive SYN PoW removes that reply by placing the proof in the first SYN, so an invalid packet can be dropped silently inside the network. The remaining gap is policy. Prior work used one fixed global threshold that creates unnecessary walking during the peacetime and cannot distinguish a stressed ingress from a clean one. The missing pieces is adaptive, selective control, raise validation only when and where pressure appears. The plot prevails the design target achieved by EdgePoW, negligible peacetime and overhead. EdgePoW addresses these requirements through one adaptive ingress-aware control loop. EdgePoW has 3 cooperating components. On the client, the TCP stack places a non-based proof directory in the initial SYN, so there is no challenge round trip. At the edge, the switch or an eBPF hook verifies one hash and drops invalid SYNs immediately. In the control plane, an SDN controller continuously monitors per ingress SYN rate and chooses both the difficulty and the enforcement scope. The proof itself is internationally small and non-interactive. The hash input it binds and the source and the destination address, the TCP ports and announce. So a proof cannot simply be replaced across flows. Difficulty D means that the hash must contain the landing 0 bits, giving expected sender walk of 2 of the power D. Our prototype stores the nonce in the TCP acknowledgement number, which is normally unused in an initial SYN. The verifiers performs only one hash for each received SYN. And importantly, verification cost does not grow with D. The controller follows an ingress first prefix refined policy. It maintains a baseline for every ingress and source prefix. When the ingress SYN rate stays above the threshold, the controller chooses the smallest difficulty that achieves the desired early drop rate while respecting a legitimate client time buckets. A verifiable difficulty creates a discovery problem. How does the client learn the current value without asking the server for a challenge? DDP reuse normal TCP transmissions behavior. The client begins from its last confirmed cached value or the default. If the SYN times out, it raises difficulty only for this connection and tries again. The conservative step is caching. A higher value is committed only after a SYN ACK confirms that the handshake succeeded. Now, I will show how these mechanisms behave on a physical SDN testbed. The testbed contains a control server, 9 clients, and 3 attackers across 3 lanes. We evaluate low rate and high rate floods, including a generator above 350 kbps and a fully randomized source variant. The comparison includes no defense, SYN cookies, static global SYN PoW, and EdgePoW with default difficulty 4 and attack difficulty 16. These 3 panels captures the main result. Without defense, the 350 kbps spoofed flood completely denies service to LAN C and causes broad character degradation with SYN cookies. Migration efficiency becomes negative because every forged SYN still triggers a response. With EdgePoW, invalid SYN are dropped and the attacked ingress before consuming core bandwidth. Lanes A and B recover to near baseline service. Lane C remains the most constrained because it begins clients share the attacked ingress, but service is preserved rather than collapsing. The next question is whether selective master after the attack is already suppressed. On the contested R2 ingress, the ingress wide informs with the begin latency clients 41.8 transactions per second and 2.6 second median setup delay. When the source's distribution is stable, the controller refines the policy to the attacker. 24. Begin throughput rises to 46.7 transactions per second an 11.7% improvement, and median setup delay falls to 1.7 seconds. Attack separation remains above 96% under randomized spoofing, no prefix dominance, so the controller correctly keeps the egress-wide rule. DDP is designed not to learn the wrong lesson from packet loss. Across 10,000 attempts per scenario, 2% random lose cause only 0.7% of connections to prove a high value consistently, and none of these values are cached. A 4-time flash cross also caused no persistent cache occupation. Verification is not the dataplane bottleneck of our prototype. A single verification takes 48 nanoseconds, and one core reaches 11.8 million verifications per second, far above the 350 caps attach rate, enabling PoW verification in SYN reduces the measured open with folding rate by only 2.8%. So to conclude, EdgePoW combines 3 pieces: a non-interactive proof carried by the first SYN, an ingress-aware controller that refines only when source's constraint is trustworthy, and a success-confirmed discovery protocol. The scope is also clear. EdgePoW targets volumetric SYN floods and manage the programmable ingress points. It does not replace application layer defense, and clients need PoW support during active protection. Future work will include P4 verification and heterogeneous client tuning and large multi-domain deployments. So that's all. Thank you for your attention.
Thanks.